This is a 2026 Cadillac Vistiq Sport. New for the 2026 model year, the Vistiq is Cadillac's second largest EV, just behind the massive Escalade IQ. The Vistiq stretches nearly 206 inches from nose to tail, offers 3 rows of space, and standard all-wheel drive from 2 electric motors. The Sport trim costs just $500 more than the base luxury version, costing thousands less than the premium luxury and the top-of-the-line platinum trims. Yet, it still comes plenty well equipped for me. And while equipment is nice, I'm much more interested to see how this very powerful, but also more than 3-ton crossover drives. But first, let's talk price and details. The base Cadillac Vistiq Luxury starts at $79,390. The Sport starts at $79,890. And my test car includes 4 options, including captain's chairs and this NACS DC adapter to cost $83,170. All right, let's take a quick look around and inside this Cadillac Vistiq Sport. This Cadillac Vistiq definitely fits on the very large end of the mid-size crossover segment. It also looks fantastic. I definitely digged these vertically stacked headlights, taillights, this broad and vent-free grille, and a lot of these different sharp edges you see throughout the vehicle. I do also like these 21-inch wheels on this Sport trim, and I think it's quite funny that these are the smallest wheels you can get. Finally, some people might find this design a little silly after the C-pillar before the D-pillar, but I think it looks cool. Adds a little something. The charge port opens like this, and courtesy of a $1,480 option, it can accept up to 19.2 kilowatts of onboard charging. It also closes electrically like this. Looking at the Vistiq in profile, you get a nice look at the opulent blue paint. This is a $725 optional color. You also get a sense of just how big and how tall the Vistiq really is. People often ask, what does 900 mean? Well, it means 900 Newton meters of torque, which is a lot. It's actually 881 Newton meters, which is 650 pound-feet, but that's still a lot. Also, I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure E means electric and 4 is for the all-wheel drive. It also has a hands and foot-free way to open the tailgate. It's an option you can turn on the center display. And with the tailgate open, you get 43 cubic feet of space with the third row folded down. You do also get extra space underneath the floor, and it's got a clever little system that will hold the floor up for you to get access to it. Plenty of room for your bag for the charging cable as an example. Just give it a little tug and it goes right back down. If you need all 3 rows up, you can just use these buttons right here. And now you can seat 6 instead of 4, but you only get 15 cubic feet of storage space. These same buttons also fold them back down, don't they? And you can fold the second row down as well. Do that and you have 80 cubic feet of storage and still room for you and a passenger. To fold them back up, you use this lever right here. This will also fold them down for you. The third row is clearly just for kids. You have very low seat bottoms, not tons of legroom, but you do have a cup holder, a vent, and a little slot for space right there. This third row also has its own climate control zone, which I'll show you in a moment, and the glass roof does expose itself back here as well. The second row, on the other hand, is plenty comfortable for adults. I do have knee room, I do have nice and high seat bottoms for good thigh support, and I do have headroom as well. and tons of natural light from the glass roof. When the car is on, I also have this panel right here, which gives me access to the second row climate control zones. Like I said, we have 5 zones of climate control. And then I do also have 2 USB ports, an AC plug beneath that, and cup holders beneath that. The car automatically turns on when the driver gets in the driver's seat with the key fob in possession, and the automatic climate control automatically kicks on. But for the noise of it, I will go ahead and stay hot and turn it down. By the way, these second row captain's chairs are an $800 option. It is a 3-row bench in the second row as standard. You're looking at a standard jet black interior, and this 33-inch display right here is also standard. It includes the digital instrument cluster, the center display, and then this third, just kind of table built into the screen right here. It itself has several options. You can look at trim information here, and you can see I have a lot of different options for trip information, but I can also look at the layout if I prefer. And you can see here I have gauge options. I can also look at my lighting options, and that turns on lane keep and those types of things. But this vehicle has Super Cruise, so I'm not worried about any of that. Also, the 23 speaker AKG sound system is standard equipment. We have heated and ventilated seats, standard equipment. Massaging seats, standard equipment. And we also have this screen down here. And the screen here gives you the options for the seats. You can also look at the way the air is flowing. And check this out. You have the first row, 2 zones, second row, 2 zones, and the third row. There's your 5 zones of climate control. We also have wireless smartphone charger here, and some cool buttons at the base of the center display here. This turns on and off one pedal driving. And if I turn it on, you can see that I can set the level. I have it set to high. I really like General Motors one pedal driving. Also, if I want to open the glove box, there I go. And you can see it's holding the DC charger for me. I can also leave the vehicle on. I can also turn the vehicle off. And if I do turn the vehicle off, all I have to do is press the brake to turn it right back on. There's no start-stop button. So I have a lot. What I don't have is Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So we have Google Maps, that's built in, and we have a ton of other features in here, but General Motors does not want to offer Apple CarPlay. I find it annoying, but I imagine that if you're an owner and you have the other Google apps built into it, you set it up once, you get used to it, you probably don't think much about it. All right, let's talk drive modes. They're right here. We have Tour, Sport, Snow and Ice, and My Mode. We also have standard, again, adjustable shock absorbers. So that means when you go from Tour to Sport, you do get a stiffer suspension. Snow and Ice is pretty self-explanatory. And My Mode lets you customize how you wish. And you can see that you can adjust the steering, suspension, brake feel, acceleration feel, and motor sound. There is one other button, the VMAX button. Turn this on. That comes on and you get full boogie immediately. And I think we should play with that. Needless to say, I'm pretty pumped to show you what VMAX is like. So let's get back to the drive. All right, let's dig into the powertrain. All Vistiqs get the same 2-electric motor, all-wheel drive powertrain. Cadillac mounts 1 motor on each axle. They combine to provide a plentiful 615 horsepower and a tree stump pulling 650 pound-feet of torque. Energy comes from a 102 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack, which will provide 300 miles of range with a full charge. That equates to 93 miles per gallon equivalent in the city, 78 on the highway, 86 combined. Since that 102 kilowatt-hour number is usable storage for the lithium-ion battery pack, I would guess that we're talking about closer to a 115 kilowatt-hour pack in gross overall capacity. Considering the size of the Vistiq, it does offer good range. It does also offer bi-directional charging. And that means that the vehicle can charge other things when it's properly equipped. And when it comes to charging the battery backup, if you're on a DC fast charger, Cadillac says that you can get 80 miles of range for every 10 minutes, and that it would take 45 minutes to reach 80% state of charge if you start from a very low number, probably around 10%. And you add 20 miles of range for every hour on a level 2 charger. Finally, not that you'd want to from a range perspective, but you can tow up to 5,000 pounds with the Vistiq. Much more importantly is that being an electric powertrain, you get electric powertrain response. And that means floor it and you get pull right away. Now I'm currently in the touring driving mode, so that does ramp in the power just a little bit. But you could see that I got response pretty much immediately, and then it just ramped up as kept my foot in it. If I switch to sport, floor it again. Yeah. It ramps in, but it ramps in a lot faster. And you'll notice this is a 6,300 pound vehicle, more than that in fact. And yet, when I hit the accelerator, I get strong pull and I get it immediately. Now that is the sport driving mode. I still have VMAX. VMAX just ramps everything up. So even though I'm already cruising on the road, I floor it. Oh man, yes, I get shoved back into the seat with real force. The greatest advantage of electric motors is the response. You don't have to wait for anything. As fast as electricity moves is as fast as you get reaction to your inputs. I love it. Now, the other side of electric vehicles is one pedal driving, lifting off the accelerator and getting decel. I currently have one pedal driving on, and I have it in the high setting. When you lift off, you get real decel. I'm not touching the brake. I have barely touched the brake when I've been on the road, because you get a good 3/4 of a G of decel just by lifting off the accelerator. I'm coming up on a stop sign right now. It will slow down to a complete stop. Slowly lifting off. My foot's still on the accelerator and I'm decelerating at the rate I want to. And that's the other side of it. You can modulate with your right foot how much decel you want, and it's as smooth as using the brake or anything else. So now my foot's completely off, and then it slowly comes to a complete stop. Never touch the brake. That is one pedal driving perfected. And since we're stopped, this is a good time to show you how well this vehicle actually goes. Of course, I did an acceleration test. Let me show you that right now. Time for an acceleration test. I do have it in the sport driving mode, but much more importantly, I have it in VMAX mode. So let's see what we have here. Okay. Coming to a complete stop. Floor the accelerator. Oh goodness. Oh, nice pull. Whoa. Immediate and powerful. Wow. That did not take long. We got up to speed quickly. Cadillac says you can get to 0 to 60 in this more than 3-ton, 3-row SUV in 3.7 seconds. And based on VMAX, yeah, I believe it. All right, let's dig into the chassis. You get a fully independent multi-link front and rear suspension in the Vistiq, and that includes adaptive shock absorbers to give you options in terms of ride. Higher-end Vistiqs also offer an air suspension, but not in this sport trim. Higher trims also get rear axle steering, but I found myself impressed with the turning radius of the Vistiq as it is. Yeah, we've got a nice and tight turning radius in this over 200-inch long, big 3-row crossover. And this is really heavy, but a lot of the weight is down low. So even though we're in the touring driving mode, if I turn the wheel, I actually get pretty darn fast response from the front end. That's faster than I expected. And I don't get that much body roll. It's certainly not underdamped ever, and that's nice. But since we have the adjustable shock absorbers, I'll put it in sport, turn the wheel again, Yeah, okay. Yes, that is firmer. This big crossover has a responsive front end. That's a pleasant surprise. In the higher trims, the premium luxury and the platinum trims, you get an air suspension, and that gives you even more ability to adjust the way the car feels between the touring, sport, and my modes. But honestly, I think Cadillac hit the right balance between ride and handling with this suspension. I'm perfectly happy with it. And that's true on roads like this and on the interstate. I did test it there as well. Let me show you that. All right, time for a quick stint on the interstate. And I do also have the on-ramp to myself. Quick handling test. I mean, it's confident. There's understeer, but it's fine. It's actually pretty good. And that was in the touring driving mode. It's probably a little bit better in sport with the shocks at a firmer setting. But yeah, it was still totally fine. Okay, I am now on the interstate and I'm setting cruise control to 78 miles an hour to go with traffic. And I have a bunch of driving aids, but I also have Super Cruise, which is on. So I'm kind of done. Super Cruise is one of those things that genuinely takes driving aids to a point that I can actually appreciate, where you can take a level of stress off of yourself due to the driving aids. And it just did a lane change for me. I didn't have to do a thing. It looked for traffic on its own. It made all the decisions on its own. Now I'm getting up to the 78 mile an hour speed that I asked for. And aside from the HVAC, it's awfully quiet in here. So let me turn the HVAC off for a moment. So yeah, now the HVAC, all the fans are off. And you can feel that this is, you can hear, excuse me, that this is a very quiet interior. It isolates the wind very well, and road noise is kept pretty quiet as well. Obviously, it's important to keep your eye on things. It can make mistakes. I've seen it do it in the past, but generally it works really well. And this, in my opinion, adds to the feeling of being in a premium car, a luxury car. That, coupled with the fact that as long as you don't have to worry about charging stations and that kind of thing, yeah, this is a fantastic highway cruiser, A+. So, what do I think of this large and new Cadillac crossover EV? I like it a lot. I really do. It's not cheap. Just under 80 grand to get into the base trim of this Cadillac Vistiq. That's a steep price. But they come nicely equipped. Heated seats, ventilated seats, 5-zone climate control, 2 wireless smartphone chargers, this 33-inch panoramic screen, this powertrain, this mega powerful, very quick powertrain is standard equipment. It's the same across the board. You get solid range. You get sub 4-second 0 to 60 times in it. And you get a really quiet cabin. You get a lot. 2 frustrations. You don't get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You get Bluetooth connection, and you do get Google Maps, Google Assistant, and Google Play, but the one-stop shopping of having Apple CarPlay is a nice feature, and you just can't have it here. Secondly, for as big as this vehicle is, I'm surprised we don't have more cargo space. It is a little bit pinched in that department. But if cargo space isn't your biggest priority, and you are one of the lucky few that can afford a vehicle this expensive, this Vistiq offers a lot, and it offers it in a stylish and comfortable way. Honestly, I think this is one of the most stylish ways to drive past every gas station you see in the future. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching. And VMAX, just one more time. There it is. Oh, that does not get boring.